Nothing.
Okay, are we going in?
Just, can you wait a second for me?
I've asked you that 4 times
waited
already.
long enough for you. You've said that 1 minute a minute ago.
I've been ruling for 16 minutes now, and I have not been able to go inside there because they are discriminating against me, and they don't even know who I am or where I live. They just said I couldn't come in.
And we have
Pete Aguilar discriminates. Pete Aguilar is discriminating against citizens.
taxpayers.
Aguilar is discriminating against citizens.
Pete Aguilar discriminates.
Someone in there told me
Pete Aguilar
so how did they
discriminates.
verify dreamers? Did they show ID? What ID?
Pete Aguilar discriminates. Pete Aguilar discriminates.
Can you guys come in and just...
That's why.
No, don't get involved with them. You guys can come... Can we do this where you guys can come in if you're not yelling and disturbing?
Yes.
We wouldn't be yelling.
That's all we want to do is go in.
We will not. Okay.
We're not going to be
What do you
swinging
think we're yelling
around.
If
about?
they let us in, we are
go
not
in?
going to be disruptive or anything. They're thinking about letting us in. Okay.
Can you not yell for like 1 minute? Just 1 minute, okay? All right, just hold on.
Okay.
Wow, this is Soviet Union, communism, shame on you. I don't care if you think you're doing us a favor. Why are these bigots not letting me in? Why can't I get in? What's going to happen if I try to walk in? Why can't I go inside? Why can't I go inside? What's going to happen to him if he goes inside?
Hey, he's touching me.
Why are you touching him?
Unless you
Why are you
deputize him.
touching
That
him?
is assault and battery.
Assault and battery.
Why are you pushing him in?
Sir, that is assault and battery. Right there.
There's the congressman right there. There's no one in there. There's all these empty seats. There's the congressman right there.
Empty seats,
I am allowed to
everybody.
film my congressman. I am allowed to film my congressman.
let us in.
I am allowed to film my congressman.
Okay, back up.
They're ready to let us in.
Back up.
Yeah, well, you keep your hands off of us.
Back up, guys, back up.
You're not an official.
You would have arrested us already if we were breaking the law to try to walk in there.
You can't be pushing on us.
Look, back up a little bit.
Get a
Greg,
back.
back up. Greg, back up.
I'm just backing up, okay?
Back up.
They're blocking and you're pushing.
I'm not...
We're citizens. Those are the
Shit.
in there. We're citizens.
You're not.
Yeah, what is this? No
I saw
apartheid.
you.
No apartheid.
Okay, are we going in?
Can you back up
Going in?
What's
Back up,
the door
back
on
up.
us?
Okay, guys, back up.
Back up, guys.
Back up. He's going to let us in.
Can you back up just a little bit? I want to talk to you about it.
Okay, you talk to us right here. You talk to us
listening.
right here. We're listening.
We're listening.
Why can't we go in there?
Yeah, and you haven't said anything.
We wouldn't be yelling and screaming. Just let us in there originally.
Told me wait. Then you
Can you back up for me a little bit? Okay, just back up. That's all I'm asking. Just back up. Just a little bit.
And all I'm asking is to go in there. That's all I'm asking. I got a ticket. What's the big deal? Why is the problem?
All right, just,
What law are you enforcing that I can't walk in there with a ticket?
just back up just a little bit.
No, we want to
That's
go in.
what law
I'm
you're
not backing up
enforcing.
anymore.
Will I be arrested if I try to walk in there right
Be
now?
arrested?
Will I be arrested? And for what crime if I walk in there?
Just take one step back. Okay, there. Are you happy now?
All right, thank you. Okay. Look, this is their event, okay? This is
No, it isn't. This
We
is a
have
public
tickets.
building.
He's elected by the people.
He's elected by the people.
By the
We're
American
taxpayers.
people, not illegal.
We're citizens.
We
We want to listen to what he's saying
Do you
to
have children?
illegals.
Do you have kids?
He's not
You
allowed
got
to
a
use
family?
tax money to talk to illegals to help them in any way. He's not allowed to use that. He's elected to serve us, not them. And that's what we're here to protest.
We're lawbreakers.
They're lawbreakers.
That's all it took, right there.
You guys don't do that.
So you say no.
Guys,
Who else? Can't say it. Can't say it.
so now there's,
Then we're gonna start yelling again, okay? Because you got.
this is not right.
What's gonna happen if I walk in?
Just wait, sir.
You keep telling me to wait. I've been rolling for 20 minutes now. 20 minutes I've missed of my congressman having
But
a
understand,
speech.
they're having a meeting and you guys are so loud. It's
No,
disrupting
the
the
won't
meeting
be
starts
loud.
at 4:30 and I have a ticket.
We won't be loud in the meeting.
Okay.
Are we going to go in?
All right, if you can not be loud, okay?
We won't be.
All right.
Why did they were going to be loud in the first
Sir,
place?
We're going to be civil.
Okay, can you just...
We're only loud because you won't let us in. We have
Okay,
tickets.
If
We have
it gets
tickets.
loud, then I'm... Okay, can we...
You got our
agree to
word.
that?
We'll do anything
Okay.
you want. You know that.
Okay.
We're adults.
Okay.
You want us to go, we'll go. But let us in.
Okay, just hold
Let
on.
us in. We'll follow you in. He's letting us in.
You know, do me a favor.
don't-
Do me a
don't-
favor. Close the door. Don't let us in.
You
so we can
have
make
control.
worldwide
Do
news.
what you want.
Do me that favor. Do me that favor. Do me that favor. Give in to me. Close us off. Don't let us in. So it makes worldwide news that Congressman Aguilar is a bigoted, hater, not inclusive.
Can you go? Just not make a loud noise for me, okay?
I won't make any loud noise. Have you heard me making any loud noise?
I got you. Come on in.
I'm sorry. I'm running against your vest or something. I can't get in.
Hey, Angel. Hey, they're gonna bring you flag. And you got this. Go ahead. Okay, just hold on.
Just take a
hold,
look.
ma'am, hold on.
All the empty seats in here. They're not letting us in, and it's rows of empty seats. Look at all those empty seats. Oh my gosh. Look at the empty seats.
It's just the problem.
It's empty seats. There's rows and rows of empty
I'm rolling
seats
for
in there.
22 minutes now. You keep telling me to wait.
Rows of empty seats in there, guys.
What's he saying?
So now the students have gathered on.
All right, just this is what we'll do, one at a time, okay? If you could just, just like I said, just be peaceful in the meeting.
Dangerous or something?
No, I'm not saying you're dangerous. I know what I'm saying.
So we don't have any weapons.
Okay.
And you're not treating us
Okay?
like
All right.
Okay. Just
Okay.
And everybody needs to take a seat.
Okay, just so you have a seat, okay?
handouts, no
You have a seat,
leaflets,
okay?
none of
All right,
We need 218 in order to
Let us
pass
in. Look at all these empty
House of
seats.
Representatives. So we have 199.
Look at all these empty
We're
seats, and they would not let us
19
in.
away from having that majority. Now, there's another bill that I wanted to let you know about because it's actually someone who I know well, and is a friend of mine, Carlos Curbelo. Is a Republican
Congressman Pete
who
Aguilar.
is sponsoring what he is called the Recognizing America's Children Act, the RAC Act, RAC. Part of what is slowing down the process is politics. This is the Republican version of the DREAM Act. It's different from the DREAM Act and doesn't provide a path to citizenship for nearly as many people. And for starters, not all DACA recipients would automatically qualify for a path to citizenship. So this is something that has been a concern to some of us who have been following these issues. It doesn't provide the protections to immigrants with temporary protected status either. It would only apply to applicants that arrived in the U.S. before the age of 16. The RAC Act would also only apply to those who arrived before 2012. This bill has 31 co-sponsors. Remember, the DREAM Act had 199. This one has 31. 30 of them are Republicans. Because the DREAM Act and the RAC Act are similar, I believe that we can help more young people through the DREAM Act, and that's why I'm going to continue to be a supporter of it. If you want to know more about the similarities and differences between these two bills, the DREAM Act and the RAC Act, I believe we have a side-by-side comparison of the bills as well. But I'll tell you, in this fractured, political environment, I can tell you that I've had a number of conversations, and I know I'm being videotaped, so I'm okay with telling you this. There are so many Republican members of Congress who support protecting young dreamers, and they may not be able to say it in their districts or in their hometowns as much as they want to, but they come up to me and to my colleagues on the House floor, and they tell us that they want to protect these young students. They want to protect you. And so when this bill was introduced, when the DREAM Act was introduced, there were 2 Republican authors, co-authors. This week, after we had conversations with more of our colleagues on the House floor, 2 Republicans from California supported the DREAM Act and said, I'm gonna sign up, I want to co-sponsor that bill. So, this is important because it shows that despite all the rhetoric and all the political noise, You know, there are folks on both sides of the aisle willing to make tough votes, and they're willing to stand up and to say that the DREAM Act is the best vehicle, and that protecting you is a priority. And providing that path to citizenship is important. And so, look, this isn't a partisan issue. I told you that this is a bill that has both co-sponsors who are Democrats and Republicans in the House and in the Senate. So this is something that we're going to continue to do. I'm working with, I'm the whip of the Congressional Hispanic Caucus. So there's 41 of us in the Congressional Hispanic Caucus. I'm the whip, and my job is to work with our colleagues to make sure that they have the information that they need, but also to make sure that we're reaching out to Republican offices and to let them know the importance of what this means to you, and the importance of what this means in their districts too. And I think that's sometimes why it's difficult for people to understand that, right? Because this is something that has broad bipartisan support now, and this isn't. We're trying to take the politics out of this issue and to try to keep it focused on you, on students, on kids. And so because we're having success, because the president agreed that this is an important step. Look, I haven't said this many times. I agree with the President of the United States. The DREAM Act needs to be law. And that's what he said. So, you know, let's make sure, so we're going to continue to work in a bipartisan way to make sure that happens. But we want to have a constructive conversation. And you being here is a testament to that. Because you know that this is important to our communities. So with that, okay, we're gonna work together to draft a letter that hopefully encapsulates some of the questions, concerns, and anxiety that we have. But I want to be very honest, and I want to make sure that we answer some questions. So look, this is your time to ask some questions, and then we're going to work as a group. Those of you who are affected by this, we're going to work in a group to develop a framework for a letter that we can send to the administration that hopefully gets to some of the questions and concerns that we have about the steps that they have taken. So with that, I'm happy to take some questions. Yes, sir.
Who's going to pay for this?
Who's going to pay for what? The DREAM Act?
Yes.
Well, the DREAM Act doesn't have a cost on it. These are young people who
but you know it's going to cost something.
Well, sure. Let me answer. You know, you've been at these events before. I've answered your questions before.
Yeah,
I'm happy to continue. I'm happy to do that again. Actually, the cost is in the tax revenue that is received. It's going to be helpful to you, actually.
So I'm going to pay for it.
No, the benefit is going to be to every taxpayer in this country.
So that's
the state of California will have billions and billions of tax revenue
I'm expected to
as a
pay for
result
this,
of
and then I'm called
increase.
racist.
Well, look, I mean, the question, look, and this is why we've had these discussions in our office. Well, look, I'm asking you to get to your question and then give me an opportunity
I asked you a
to.
question. First you said it's not going to cost us anything.
It doesn't cost
Now you
you.
said
That's
it's
your
going to
answer.
taxpayer.
No, now I'm saying it's going to help you as a taxpayer.
Well, it's going to help.
Because let me articulate how this works. Let me articulate how taxes work. So these young people are going to go to school. They're going to get an education, which they're doing, as well as most of them are working jobs as well. So they're paying into Social Security. They're paying into Medicare. They're paying into these programs that you're going to use before they use. And all of that is being done because they want to be part of this. They want to be included. They are as American as you and I. And so,
my family's
that was your question. I answered it. You can get angry. It's okay.
My question is, because they cross the border illegally, they are lawbreakers. So how is that going to help us?
How is that going to help you? Well,
The American
These
people.
are, these are
should come
young
first.
people who are a fabric of our community. I don't recall, if anyone's Native American, they can help us out, and they can have a different take on this, but all of us came from somewhere.
Exactly.
And so we all arrived here. And so, and
They
so,
learn how to assimilate.
What about our
Yeah,
soccer team?
and they work and they live side by side with us. They go to school with my kids.
Yep.
They compete
And
for
so-
with us.
And so, you know, look, let's try to stay factual here.
Yes, stay fact.
But this is about, and look, I mean,
Hey, don't turn into Pete Aguilar now.
and look, it's funny. I mean, that would be a terrible thing. Nobody should. Yeah, it's just a terrible thing. And so, you know, what we want to try to do is to inject some sanity and some facts into this, because there are a lot of people, and some here in this room, and I want you kids to know that, look, this is America, and they have a right to ask a question, and I'll try to give an answer. But there are a lot of folks, there are folks here in this room who don't live in this congressional district, and they go from congressional district to congressional district to ask questions. I'm gonna take more questions. I'm gonna take more questions in a minute. Hold on, my turn. And so, but this shows the importance of what we're doing today, in having a conversation about how we create this path forward. So, sir, you, and then you go ahead.
Okay, from what I understand, is ever related to anybody in Mexico, students or otherwise. And what I'm hearing is people are crossing the border, stealing from the tribe. I don't like it. So what's gonna happen with that?
I'm sorry, restate the last part. Crossing the border from what?
From Mexico, whoever's related to the students.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure they're gonna say they're all related somehow.
Chain migration.
They're all standing together, but I'm saying whatever's happening is they're stealing from the Native American tribes. I do not like it. How are we gonna solve that problem?
That they're stealing from Native Americans?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
How are we gonna solve that problem?
I haven't seen any press articles or anything that would lead me to believe that young immigrants are stealing from Native Americans. But I will say this brings up a smaller, you know, factual issue that I did want to highlight, because some articles have been wrong on this. If you have DACA status, you cannot sponsor someone to become a citizen, right? And some other groups and organizations will have you think that, oh, well, if we allow a young person to have DACA status, you know, there's going to be all these magical people that come with them. That is not true. So having DACA status means you have to meet the age requirements, you have to be in school or work, and you have to get a background check. And so what I don't understand is which piece of those do folks object to? But we'll come back to that. Go ahead, sir.
Yes, during the Obama administration, the Democrats lost the Senate, then they lost the House, and in 2016, they lost the presidency. So if you were in the Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, negotiating team, what would you give up for DACA, knowing that when the DACA child, becomes, follows the pathway to citizenship, then the DACA person can sponsor his parents that cross the border illegally. That's called chain migration, and it just goes on and on and on. And so what are you going to trade for this DACA?
Sure.
Knowing that there'll be chain migration.
Sure. Those are probably some separate questions, but let me answer. Look, I'm not going to talk about the politics of this, because I don't care if I lose my seat. I don't care if my colleagues lose their seat. We're going to do what's in the best interest of our communities, and you can work to make that happen politically. And that's what's great about this country. And I'll continue to hold on. Shh. I'll continue to stand for election every 2 years and to say this is my record and this is what I did. And I'm comfortable standing on my record and saying I'm trying to help these young people. But I will answer your question, because I think it brings up a good point, right, that's been discussed in the news, which is what are people willing to trade? I've been very clear. I believe that the DREAM Act deserves a straight up or down vote in the House of Representatives. Now, look, I voted for increased border enforcement in earlier this year as part of the fiscal year 2017. It was for technology and no wall. It was for increased technology and biometrics and no wall. If Democrats and Republicans want to work on something that continues to do that, I've read press articles about new technology that can work to smell fentanyl that comes across both northern and southern borders. You know, I'm all in. Let's consider that. That would reduce reduce heroin in the United States. I'm happy to have a conversation about that, or about how we can use technology to make the border more efficient. I'm happy to do that. But I've said very clearly, and you know what? In that meeting, it was discussed, and the wall will not be part of these. It's not going to be a bargaining chip in these discussions. So we have a southern wall in many areas. So and in many areas, it's been there for years and years. So
in many areas, there's only a 3 barbed wire fence, wide open.
So, and I think that it's important that you understand that I'm happy every 2 years to say, I want to help these kids. And the American people believe this. Look, if you want to talk politics, let's talk politics. You know, 70% of Republicans feel that we need to fix this issue and that these DACA kids should have status. 80% of Americans believe that. So, you know, this isn't about the 31st Congressional District. If you want to talk national polling, you know, these young kids will win on that issue every time.
Okay, so you didn't cover chain migration.
Well, as I mentioned, look, that gets back to our issues. I'm happy. Maybe we'll do another public event. You know, Erica, Stephanie, let's think through how we can talk about the steps, because I think there's a lot of misnomers around what conditional permanent residency means, to legal permanent residency, to status, how long that pipeline takes. Yeah. But these young kids, this is what I can tell you. We're talking about here. And these kids deserve an opportunity to have a path to citizenship. So I'm happy to stand with this. There is right. You had your question, sir. Thank you. We'll come if there's time. If there's time for if there's time. See, this is the most frustrating part. This is the most frustrating part.